Welcome back. It's Melanie, She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a 2-page layout using my, I guess you could call it Summer Simple Stories and Cocoa Vanilla collection. I think there's 2 different Simple Stories and 1 Cocoa Vanilla collection, and they just happen to all match perfectly. So I am going to be adding some strips of paper all the way across the layout. I am cutting these at 3 inches, I believe. However, I then remembered that I wanted to add the strips of paper at the top and the bottom. And so I left those, and then I decided to then continue just cutting these papers. I believe they end up being 1.5, 1 and 1/2 inch, if I remember correctly. Because my plan was to do 3, 2, 1. So if you cut all those in half, I think that's what I ended up doing. I'm using 3 different pattern papers. And the reason I am doing that is because I'm using another paper, I guess. I'm using 4 pattern papers. And that one is going to be cut at 6 inches. And so that left me with an additional 6 inches on top and the bottom. So now that I have these all cut, I am going to tape them all down, but not make you guys watch the whole process. I tape them in this order here, and then obviously do it on the rest of the 3 corners or sides as well. So once I have that done, this is the paper that I am going to cut in 6 inches. Unfortunately, you will see in just a second, the cuts are not even. On the far right, you can see a little bit of white space in between the dark blue and then the teal paper. So unfortunately, I have to come up with a way to cover that up. I am using a bunch of photos for this layout. This is a couple years ago, a vacation to go visit my sister, and we spent a lot of time in the pool because it happened to be June, and obviously it's super hot in Florida. She's got a pool in her backyard, so we spent a lot of time in the pool, so I have lots of pool photos. And because I am trying to conserve space in albums, I am going to just be doing these 2 layouts. I believe one of my sons has another 1-page layout, and the other one has a 2-page layout from the same vacation in the pool. But these are the photos I have left, and I decided to kind of use them all on these 2 pages. I am going to be using some flip flaps, which unfortunately are pretty much all sold out from Close to My Heart at this point. I did ask in another video, I believe, if anybody knows of any other products that are like flip flaps, other companies that have something similar, because I know I'm in search of a new idea, I guess, and so is my aunt. So any help would be appreciated. So once I get this done, I tried both of the blue sheets to see if it kind of covered up that white space on the right hand side any more than the other piece, and it doesn't. So I did end up having to go back into the papers, and I found this orange and this kind of light aqua paper that I thought would work nice, and I decided to do the light, and I cut these in 1/4 inch. The reason I did light is I just thought the orange would be too bright. There is a little bit of orange in the striped paper, but not much anywhere else. And I just thought it would be too much. And so instead I chose the lighter, less busy pattern. And so because I have to, cover up one side, I had to cut 4 and cover up all of them, which is fine. I like the way that it looks, just adds another another element, I guess, another layer, another pattern. So I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns on this paper, or these layouts. I don't think it's too busy though, because not all of them, or a lot of them aren't busy patterns. I would say the only really busy pattern is the stripes, and those are far enough away from everything else, I think, that it's not distracting. So I was happy to use up some of the papers, and then use so many different patterns as well. So I'm not going to make you watch me back all of my photos. I did just do white. I am trying to slow down my videos, which is hard for me because I don't like talking your guys' ear off, but I get where it was getting too fast and hard to watch. So I am kind of editing out some pieces more so now, like the backing of the photos and whatnot. So if there's only a couple, it's one thing, but when I have so many pictures to back, it takes too much time. Now that I have these done, I had to trim off the excess of the pages. I actually use, and I meant to say it in the beginning of my layout, but I'll actually use papers from a paper pad where one side is white, with layouts like this where I have to piece together, and I guess it doesn't even have to be white if you're going to piece it together and none of the background is showing. I do that because, well, I've gone through my paper pads to pick out things because I know that I'm not going to use them. I don't want to waste it, and so I will cut my cut files out from those papers. I will use it on layouts like this where I'm piecing it all together. It just is a good 12 by 12, and that way I'm not using up my good cardstock. I really had a hard time justifying 2 pieces of close to my heart white daisy when none of it was going to be shown. So I had to run out to the she shed and get it, but it was definitely worth it for me to kind of use the paper. It's kind of thinner. It's just a paper pad paper, but it definitely worked out better for me. So now is the fun part, and with embellishing this layout. I had the Simple Pages ephemera from one of the Simple Stories collection, and I just love that summer vibes and love how it filled in that space. Because that's a 4x4 photo, there was just an extra space there, and I felt like the way that title was filled that in really nicely. And now you get to see how I kind of hoard and buy all the things. Here's my pile of embellishments that I have with these papers. So many. So you can see the Sunkissed collection from Cocoa Vanilla. I don't remember the 2 collections from Simple Stories. I will try to figure that out and see if I can find any of it and link it down below, as well as the Sunkissed. But they are on the older side at this point. I think I got most of mine from Tuesday morning, so that kind of tells you how old the collections are. So I'm going through trying to figure out pieces that might work for my layout. I thought I had kind of more pool vibe ephemera, but I couldn't really find it, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of struggled. So I decided to commit to the title because that obviously wasn't gonna change at all. So I do end up popping that up on some foam tape to give the layout a little bit of dimension, and so that's going to go there. You can see the sun. I am going to leave that and make a cluster there, and then the lawn chair with the kiddie pool I am going to leave down there. I like how big that was, and I felt like that helped kind of fill in that space down there as well. But now just again trying to figure out where and what to embellish with. I did find some canvas flare from Scrap and Happy Studio, and the nice thing about the flip flaps are that you can actually embellish on top of them as well as underneath. So I did add the flare on top of my photo, and then I'm going to kind of add more embellishments underneath and to the side of that. So when you open that up, a little bit will be on, in this case, the journaling spot that I made. I was talking and missed that, but I did cut a smaller piece of white cardstock and backed it with that yellow to go under my flip flap instead of a third photo. So my journaling will be hidden under there. Again, trying to figure out what to use, where to put it. I did like that acrylic piece from Not Just for Boys. So I am really incorporating quite a few companies and whatnot with this layout, which I love. I love that, you know, you can piece together different collections and it just works out nicely. It doesn't always come easy for me. If it's not the same collection and I have to go kind of piece together enough, I do struggle then. But these were so close in color and kind of, you know, icons or whatnot that these just worked for me so well, and they just are together in a paper envelope that I bring out every time I use one or all of them. I did fill in the top right with some phrase stickers from that Cocoa Vanilla sticker sheet and then some puffy hearts. And really I'm just going to kind of finish up with a couple other pieces. I liked that phrase down there on the bottom, so I did pop that up on foam tape, again adding some puffy hearts down there. I added the one heart to the left hand side, and so I wanted to incorporate more hearts in the other clusters. Committed to the sun and that acrylic piece. It says Sundays or sunny days, summer days. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Summer days up at the top there. All right, needed more hearts. So went into the chipboard and added that orange heart at the top. Kind of playing around with where or what I could add. I love this little sunscreen, so that worked nicely over by that lawn chair. And then there were some chipboard flip-flops, and they were kind of on the larger side, but I liked how it kind of almost completed that little scene, you could say, over on page 2. So that is really going to kind of finish it off. I do have to commit to that chipboard heart at the top, and I'm adding a couple more puffy hearts throughout. One, just to kind of use them up, and then 2, to kind of just, I guess, expand my clusters a little bit more as well. But I love the bright colors of this layout. Definitely wishing for warmer weather. We've had the weirdest winter, so I'm definitely excited for the warmer weather to come. But I will see what I can find and link what I can down below if you are interested. But I hope you guys enjoyed this layout, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.